G'day, and how you going today? I've got the most wonderful news for you this weekend. You're just not going to believe it, but the latest breaking scientific research has revealed that God is great. That is, that the belief in God is great for your mind, it's great for your body, it's great for your social development. In fact, the belief in God, or contemplating the belief in God, will add years and years to your life. As crazy as it sounds, welcome to today's show. I'm James Toogood, and I've got something to share with you today. And this is that it doesn't even matter if you're an atheist, or if you're Jewish, or if you're Christian, or Muslim, or who cares what. In fact, scientists have discovered that the mere act of contemplating the existence of God, or even the non-existence of God, exercises a particular part of our brain that deals with spiritual matters. If that part never gets exercised, we become mental dwarfs. We lose years from our life, we aren't as filled with hope as we could be, and you need to start exercising the spiritual part of your brain. Why? It's a law for success in life. How? We're going to investigate that further today. But we invited a group of jazz singers to our studio, and I interviewed them a few weeks ago. And I asked them, what about jazz? It's a complicated, beautiful piece of music, but are there any rules in jazz?
There are kind of some basic rules that you have that you can start out with, and the good thing is once you have those rules you can perform with any musician around the world if they play jazz, and it doesn't matter what language they speak. You can kind of communicate with hand signals, and you can get a song out that sounds amazing, never having to speak the same language.
So there's some basic rules, and within the basic rules it's endless variation.
Well, yeah. I mean, the actual fundamental basics of jazz are very, very simple.
Okay.
Like you have basically a set form, you have set chord changes over the form, certain number of bars, that sort of thing. But over the top of that, you can do, there are all these other little rules that start applying. How you can get as deep into the theory as you like. Really.
So within the basic rules of jazz, you can do almost anything you want, but you do try and fit within the. How many notes are there in a jazz scale? Like,
well, I mean,
in an octave.
In an octave, I mean, there's 12 notes within your standard octave, and I mean this applies basically in most Western music anyway.
Well, show us your piano player here. This is
John.
John, jazz pianist.
John, do you want to give us a?
So there's 12 notes in an octave, are there?
Well, in the chromatic scale, that's all the white and black notes. You got.
There you go, white and black, 12 notes. And what would happen if you tried to play with 14 notes in that same distance?
Yeah, well, you can't on the piano because the piano is a fixed pitch instrument. If you're a singer, you can sing in between those.
I often do.
And that's the thing I love about double bass is it's fretless, so I can put 14 notes into an octave if I wanted to.
Tell us how the chord progression works.
Well, chord progression for each song is fixed. So, like, I mean, even with something like Happy Birthday has set chords. So whoever's playing a chordal instrument can play those chords, and then everyone that's listening
and
can
so if you know the
recognise
sequence, you can play the song.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're playing any instrument whatsoever.
Yeah.
And if you fit within the rules generally, and within the broad structure, you end up with happier jazz. Is that so?
Or happier musicians.
Happier musicians, certainly. Yeah, good for you. Yeah.
Maybe happier listening ears.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Play us a bit, guys. Just let's see here how it sounds.
A bit of blues, eh?
Blues and F.
Blues and F.
Yeah.
2. 1, 2.
Hey baby, I really like your style.
Pretty cool stuff. Yes, it's just amazing. But just like there's laws for successful jazz, there are laws for a successful life. And it was doctors Andrew Newberg and Mark Walderman who wrote a famous book, and it's called How God Changes the Brain. It's so recently released, it's hardly hit the shores of New Zealand. And they discovered there are spiritual laws for life that add to your life success.